The girl. No one wanted the alien market was full of noise. Creatures shouted in different languages. Bright lights flashed above dirty stalls. The smell of old food and metal filled the air. Traders walked past cages, looking for something useful. Something strong. Inside one of those cages, a girl sat quietly. She had no clothes. Just bruises, dirt, and chains. Her purple skin was covered in cuts. Her long hair was messy. Her body looked weak, too thin, like she hadn't eaten in days. She didn't cry anymore. Even her tears had left her. A dirty sign hung on the cage. Slave, damaged, worthless. Aliens walked by, some laughed, some pointed. Some spat. No one will buy that thing, one alien said. She looks half dead, said another. She's broken, the seller growled. Useless, but I'll still take one credit. Still, no one stopped. The girl didn't move. She just stared at the ground. She didn't care anymore. She had been here too long. Days? Weeks? She couldn't remember. She only remembered hunger, pain, and cold. Her name? She didn't remember that either. Then, the market suddenly grew quiet. A strange figure stepped in front of the cage. He wasn't tall or glowing like some of the others. He was different. A human. He had short brown hair, a black jacket, and boots covered in dust. He looked tired but strong. His eyes were sharp, but not cruel. He stared at the girl inside, the cage. He didn't laugh. He didn't insult her. He just watched. The seller laughed. You looking at that one, human? Bad choice. The human said nothing. She's weak. Dumb. Won't last a week. The seller added. The human still said nothing. Then he opened his bag and took out something shiny, a gold coin, real valuable. The seller gasped. For her? The human nodded. You're crazy, someone shouted from the crowd. But the deal was done. The human walked forward and unlocked the cage. The girl flinched. She thought he was going to hit her or chain her again, but he didn't. He placed a soft blanket around her and gently picked her up. She was light. Too light. Her eyes opened for 1 second. She saw his face. Then everything turned black. When she woke up, she was warm. Not hot like the cage. Warm like a bed. She blinked. She was inside a ship. Clean walls, soft lights, quiet sounds. She sat up, fast, heart racing. Was this a new cage? Would she be hurt again? Then she heard footsteps. The human walked in. He stopped when he saw her awake. He didn't get too close. He held out something, a shirt and pants. Clean, folded. She stared at them, then at him. He placed them near the bed and stepped back. No shouting, no chains, just space. He spoke slowly. His voice was calm. You are safe now. She didn't understand all the words, but she felt their meaning. He pointed to himself. Adam. She didn't reply. He pointed to her chest. You? She didn't answer. She didn't have a name. Adam didn't push. He nodded and left the room. Later, she walked around the small ship. Carefully, she saw water, food, and a place to sit. She touched the walls. Everything was strange. New. Not dirty. She looked in a mirror and jumped. She didn't recognize herself. Her skin was still damaged, her eyes tired. But there was something different. She was alive. Adam gave her space. He didn't ask questions. He made soft food and offered it with a smile. She ate slowly, waiting for pain, but it never came. He let her sleep, let her rest, let her breathe. One night, while she sat near the window and stared at the stars, he walked up and placed a necklace. In her hand it was simple, a silver chain with a leaf charm. Gift, he said. She held it tight. Why? She asked in a small voice. Adam smiled. Because you deserve something nice. That night she whispered something before sleep, just one word. Thanks. She didn't know what tomorrow would bring, But for the first time, she wasn't afraid. She belongs to a human now. The ship hummed softly in the dark. Lyra, yes, that was the name she chose for herself now, lay under a blanket on a real bed. The fabric was soft. Too soft. It made her skin itch, but she didn't mind. She was alive. She was not in a cage. The door slid open with a gentle hiss. Adam stepped inside, holding something in his hands. Clothes. Simple. Clean. Folded neatly. He placed them at the end of the bed and backed away without a word. Lyra watched him with wide, alert eyes. She still didn't trust him completely, but he hadn't touched her. He hadn't shouted. He hadn't called her thing or slave. That was new. That was strange. After he left, she slowly reached out and touched the clothes. They were soft. The shirt smelled like soap, not sweat or blood. Her fingers trembled as she dressed. Every move reminded her of how thin she was, how many bruises still lived on her skin. But when she looked in the mirror, she saw something else now too. Her reflection was no longer just pain. It was change. Later, Adam sat across the table, a bowl of soup between them. He pointed to it. Eat. Lyra looked at him, then at the spoon. She waited for a trick, a slap, a command. None came. So slowly, she picked up the spoon and tasted the soup. Warm, soft, safe. She looked up. His eyes were watching her, but not like the others, not with hunger or hate, just calm. She took another bite, and another. After dinner, Adam turned on a small screen. Pictures appeared, simple drawings with words. He pointed to himself. Adam. She nodded. Then he pointed at her. She hesitated. She had no name left. They had taken it. But now, she had a new one. Lyra, she said quietly. Adam smiled. He typed it into the screen. Lyra. She smiled too. Just a little. Days passed. They didn't talk much, but they didn't need to. Lyra followed Adam around the ship. Watched how he fixed things, how he cleaned, cooked, moved. He showed her buttons, switches, maps of stars. He even gave her her own small screen to learn from. It showed her words, in both human and alien language. She studied every day, trying to speak better. One day, he found her standing near the engine room, holding a tool. Want to help? He asked. She nodded. He handed her a small scanner. This is called a volt checker. Volt checker, she repeated. They worked side by side. Lyra didn't talk much, but her hands were steady. Her fear didn't stop her anymore. Her curiosity was stronger now. When the job was done, Adam gave her a thumbs up. Good job. Lyra's heart warmed, not because she wanted praise, but because it felt good to be useful, to be more than a body, to be someone. That night, as she stood near the window looking out into space, Adam walked up and handed her something. A paper, a simple drawing, a stick figure version of her and him. One tall, one small, both smiling. Underneath, he had written, Friends. She stared at it for a long time. No one had ever drawn her before. No one had ever called her that before. Friend, she whispered. Adam nodded, and Lyra, once nothing more than a forgotten slave, felt something rise inside her chest. Not fear, not sadness, but something small, something like hope. That night, she didn't curl into a corner to sleep. She didn't shake. She didn't cry. She slept like someone who belonged, not as a slave, not as a tool, but as a person, as Lyra, learning to be a person again. The stars outside moved slowly, like soft lights in the dark. Lyra sat cross-legged on the floor of the ship, a small learning tablet in her lap. The screen glowed gently, showing two simple words. I am, she whispered, them. I am. Not was, not used to be, not owned, not Not sold. Just... Adam walked in with 2 cups of warm tea. He didn't say anything at first. He sat beside her and placed a cup near her feet. She looked at it, then looked at him. He raised his own cup and said, "You're doing well." She nodded. "Thank you." Her voice was still soft, like a breeze, but it didn't shake anymore. Every day now Lyra learned something new. One day, it was how to make eggs on the ship's tiny burner. Another day it was how to fix a light panel in the hall. She didn't always get it right. Once she tried to connect wires too fast and got a small shock. "Ow!" she yelped, pulling her hand back. Adam rushed over. "Are you okay?" She looked at him wide-eyed. Then she smiled. "Yes, it didn't kill me." He stared at her for a second, then started laughing. A real laugh. Deep and surprised. Lyra smiled wider. "That's the first time I made you laugh." "You'll do it again," Adam said. "You're dangerous now." One evening, she sat in front of a mirror, holding a small comb. Her reflection didn't scare her anymore. The bruises were fading. The sharp bones in her face were slowly softening. Her cheeks had a little color. Her hair, while still wild, was cleaner now. She didn't look like a ghost. She looked like someone real. "Adam," she asked one day, "what do people do when they are free?" He thought for a moment. "They make choices," he said. "They learn, they laugh, they mess up, and no one owns them." Lyra was quiet. Then she said, "I want to choose." "Choose what?" "I want to be better." Adam nodded. "Then that's what we'll do." He started showing her old Earth music. They listened while fixing pipes or cleaning panels. Some songs were loud and fast. Some were slow and sad. One made her cry, quiet tears that surprised her. Adam said nothing. He just sat next to her and handed her a cloth to wipe her face. That was the first time she leaned her head against his shoulder. He didn't move. He just stayed. One day he gave her a strange gift. A box, small and simple. Inside, a mirror. But on the mirror, he had scratched words in his own handwriting. "You are not what they did to you." She touched the letters. Her hands shook. Then she whispered, "I believe you." Not every day was perfect. Some days she still had nightmares. She would wake up screaming, sweat soaking her skin. Adam would rush in. He never touched her, just sat nearby and said, "You're safe. They can't hurt you now." And slowly she would breathe again. Sometimes she'd fall back asleep while he sat beside the bed, humming a tune she didn't know. Weeks passed. She could now say full sentences in his language. She helped him fly, the ship once, just for a moment. He showed her the stars on a map. "You can go anywhere," he said. "Where do you want to go?" She pointed at a random star. "There," she said. "Why?" "No reason, just because I can." Adam smiled. "That's the best reason." That night she sat by the window again, watching the stars. Her reflection in the glass looked strong, peaceful. She pressed her fingers against it. "I was no one," she said softly. "I was nothing." Then she looked down at the silver necklace. Around her neck, the one Adam had given her. Now it felt like armor. "I am Lyra," she said. "I'm still here." And in that moment, she wasn't learning how to be someone anymore. She already was. The trouble finds them. The ship was quiet that morning. Lyra sat at the round table, peeling a small alien fruit with care. Her hands were steadier now, her arms stronger. She wore a shirt that actually fit and pants she had picked herself. Her hair was tied back in a braid. She looked like a crew member now. Not a rescued slave, not a lost girl, but someone who belonged. Adam leaned over the navigation screen, scrolling through trade routes. "We'll stop at a small station tomorrow," he said. "Just fuel and supplies, in and out." Lyra nodded. "Can I come this time?" Adam looked up. "You sure?" She nodded again. "I'm ready." He smiled. "Then you'll need a jacket." People stare. She grinned. They always stare. That night, Lyra walked to her room humming a slow song Adam had taught her. She had almost reached the door when something caught her eye, a blinking red light on the ship's side screen. Incoming signal. Unknown source. She walked over and tapped it open. It was a face, rough skin, cold yellow eyes. Sharp voice. "You have something that belongs to us," the voice growled. The girl. Lyra's breath stopped. The signal ended before Adam arrived. "What was it?" he asked. Lyra turned slowly. "They found me." The next day they didn't go to the station. They flew the other way, fast and low, using old asteroid fields to hide. But it didn't help. A ship followed them. Silent. Dark. A hunter's ship. Adam tried everything. Silent drives. Code jammers, old Earth tricks, but the ship stayed close. "They know exactly who they're tracking," he muttered. Lyra sat in the co-pilot seat, eyes wide but calm. "Will they try to take me alive?" "Yes," Adam said. "You're worth more that way." She touched the necklace around her neck. "I'm not going back." "You're not," Adam said. "I promise." But promises mean little in space. The enemy ship fired without warning. A shockwave slammed into their left side. Alarm screamed. Sparks burst from the walls. Adam shouted, "We've lost the rear engine." Lyra held onto the seat. "What do we do?" Adam's jaw tightened. "We fight." He handed her a small tool. "Not a weapon," he said, "but it can short out a control panel if they board us." She held it tightly. "I won't let them chain me again," she said. "Good," Adam replied, "because I didn't save you just to watch you be taken." The ship shook again. A sharp sound. They had been boarded. Heavy boots landed on the floor. The ship's lights flickered. Adam locked the cockpit doors. "We hold them here." But Lyra had another idea. She slipped out through a side tunnel, crawling fast, using vents and side corridors. Her heart pounded. She knew this ship now. It was her home, and no one was going to take it from her. She reached the back engine room. Footsteps echoed above. 2 bounty hunters moved slowly, scanning the halls. Their weapons buzzed with blue light. Lyra hid behind a pipe. Then she jumped. She stabbed the tool into the nearest panel and hit the button. The lights burst. Electricity surged. The panel exploded, shocking the first hunter and throwing the second off balance. Lyra ran. Adam met her halfway. He had already taken down another invader with a stun blaster. He looked at her, sweating, panting, hair wild, and asked, "You okay?" She nodded. "I shocked one." The other ran. He grinned. "You're getting good at this." "I had a good teacher." They made it to the bridge. Adam powered the last engine cell. "Hang on," he said. The ship jerked forward. The hunter's ship couldn't keep up. It was too damaged. Too slow. In seconds, it was gone from the radar. Silence returned, but it wasn't the same kind of silence. This time, it was earned. Later, Lyra sat by the broken wall, a cut on her cheek, grease on her hands, and a tool in her lap. She was tired, but she felt something new. Pride. Adam sat beside her, also bruised and dirty. "That was close," he said. Lyra looked at the stars outside. "I didn't freeze," she said. "No, I didn't cry. No. I fought." He smiled. "Yes, you did." She turned to him, her voice low. "I'm not a slave anymore." Adam nodded. "You never were. They just made you believe it." She looked down at her hands. "They'll come again, won't they?" Adam looked out the window. "Maybe. Or maybe we just made them regret it." Lyra leaned back against the wall. Her heartbeat had slowed. She wasn't the same girl who flinched at every step. Now she had scars and strength, and she had something else too. A ship, a name, and someone who believed in her. Her past returns. The ship floated quietly through deep space, away from trade lanes, away from danger. But Lyra's mind wasn't quiet. She sat in her small room, staring at a glowing screen. The light flickered, showing old documents Adam had dug out of ancient star system records. The girl in the photo wore royal colors. She was younger, smiling, and full of light. Her purple skin was clean. Her hair braided neatly with gold strings. That girl looked like someone from a dream. That girl looked like Lyra. Adam stood by the door. "I found more," he said gently. He walked in and placed a small data chip on the table. "It confirms it." Lyra didn't move. Her fingers still touched the screen. "I was someone." "You still are," Adam said. "No," she whispered. "I was someone important." He sat across from her. "You're important now. To me. To yourself. That's what matters." She looked at him, eyes full of questions. "What happened to my family?" Adam hesitated. "They were leaders of House Velen, royals. They ruled a peaceful part of the Tyrex system. But they were betrayed." "By who?" "House Therak. They wanted power. They attacked during a peace festival. Your family didn't stand a chance." Lyra's throat tightened. "I was there?" Adam nodded. "You were 5 years old. You were taken during the chaos, sold off to disappear forever." Her voice cracked. "And it worked. Until now." That night she couldn't sleep. She walked barefoot to the observation deck, staring out at the stars. "I thought being nobody made me safe," she whispered to the glass. "But even the past has claws." She closed her eyes and saw the cage, again, but now it wasn't just a prison. It was the end of a dynasty. A few days later, Adam received a strange transmission, encrypted, old tech, but real. He played it for Lyra. A woman's voice spoke. "This is Keshna Velen. If our Lyra lives, know that you are not forgotten. The bloodline lives in you. We are waiting. We are rebuilding. And we are ready to welcome you home." Lyra didn't speak for a long time. Then she whispered, "They know I'm alive?" Adam nodded. "They've been searching for years." Lyra touched her necklace, the one he gave her. She had worn it every day. It wasn't royal. It wasn't expensive, but it had meant she was seen. She was loved. "Do you want to meet them?" Adam asked. Lyra bit her lip. "I don't know if I belong with people like that." "They're your people." "No," she said. "You are." Adam blinked. Lyra looked at him, serious now. "When I was nothing, you gave me something. That means more than any crown." But even so, she agreed to go. Not for the throne. Not for power. But to see what was lost. They landed on a hidden moon called New Velen. It was far from the main worlds, surrounded by glowing clouds and silver light. The people there didn't cheer when she arrived. They stood in silence. One by one, they dropped to their knees. Some wept. Others whispered, "The lost child has returned." Keshna walked out to meet her, tall, strong, silver armor shining. She bowed deeply. "Our Lyra. Welcome home." Lyra didn't bow back. "I don't know this place," she said. "That doesn't matter," Keshna replied. "What matters is what you'll do now." They walked through halls filled with memories, pictures of her family, paintings of the old world, statues of her mother, tall and beautiful, and in one small frame. A picture of her as a child. Lyra stopped. She stared at it for a long time. "That's me," she whispered. "Before everything." "Yes," Keshna said. "Before they tried to break you." Later, Lyra stood outside the palace, watching. The sun set on the silver horizon. Adam joined her, hands in his jacket pockets. "Well?" he asked. She didn't answer. Instead, she asked, "Do you think I can be both?" "Both what?" "Lyra. And our Lyra. The girl in the cage. And the princess they're waiting for." Adam looked at her with calm eyes. "I think you're already both." That night she stood in front of the gathered council. No crown. No royal robe. Just Lyra, in simple clothes, with dirt on her boots and fire in her voice. "I won't sit on a throne just because I have the blood for it," she said. I'm not here to rule. I'm here to rebuild. Silence. Then someone stood and clapped, then another. Then the room echoed with applause. Later, when she was alone with Adam, she asked quietly, "Why does this hurt?" "Because healing always hurts," he replied. "You're growing." She looked at him, smiling softly. "I'm scared." He placed a hand over hers. "You don't have to be, not anymore." And for the first time, Lyra believed it. She had found her name, her people, her voice. But most of all, she had found herself. A deal with the enemy. The silver halls of New Velen were quiet that morning. Lyra stood on the edge of a stone balcony, watching two suns rise over the mountain ridge. Her hands gripped the edge. Her heart was steady, but her thoughts were not. She had learned her name, our Lyra. She had met her people, her cousin, her past. But she still didn't feel like a princess. Behind her, Adam leaned against a wall. He watched her silently for a moment before speaking. "They think you'll lead them. I know. You don't have to. I know that too." She turned around slowly. "But I want to do more than just exist. I want to make them stop running." Adam crossed his arms. "Then we go to the source." Lyra nodded. "To House Therak." The plan was bold. Some called it foolish. Keshna warned her, "Therak still rules the core worlds. If you step onto their land, they'll either kill you or use you to win back the people." "I'm not going there to fight," Lyra said. "I'm going to show them that I'm not afraid. They might not care." "Then let them try," she said. "I've survived worse." They took a small civilian ship. No weapons, no escorts, just Lyra and Adam, pretending to be two traders delivering high-level tech to the core. Inside their ship's hidden floor panels were data crystals, stolen documents from decades ago. Proof of the crimes House Therak committed. Hidden. Names, secret killings, war deals. It was enough to destroy them, if delivered to the right hands. They landed on Velen Prime, the world where Lyra was born, now controlled by the enemy. The planet had changed. The towers were taller, darker, the sky full of gray smoke. Drones flew above every street, watching every move. Billboards flashed, showing the face of Lord Therak. Lyra kept her hood low and her voice soft. "I hate that I was born in this place." Adam walked beside her, calm as ever. "Then change what it means." They walked through tight alleys, passing soldiers and scanners. Their fake IDs held up. Their cover worked, for now. They reached a dirty old mechanic shop. Its metal doors were marked with a tiny symbol, a cracked crown. It was the mark of the underground. Resistance. Inside, a woman in a dusty coat greeted them with a sharp nod. "You're late," she said. "We weren't sure you'd still be alive." Adam replied. The woman stared at Lyra, then she said, "You look like her, the queen." Lyra took off her hood. "I'm her daughter." The woman blinked and dropped to one knee. They sat in the back room, lights low. Lyra placed the data crystals on the table. "These files expose everything: secret prisons, poison deals, slave trades, my family's murder." The woman's eyes widened. "If this is real..." "It is," Lyra said. "You can send it everywhere. To every system, every channel. And then what? Then we see if people are still brave." Suddenly a red light flashed on the wall. "Incoming patrol," the woman whispered. "Hide," she said. "Now." Too late. The front door blasted. Open, armored soldiers stormed in. One shouted, "Hands where we can see them." Adam reached for his hidden blaster, but Lyra stopped him. She stood up, raised her hands, and took off her hood again. Gasps filled the room. The soldiers froze. Lyra stepped forward, eyes locked on the nearest commander. "I am our Lyra Velen," she said. "Daughter of the rightful queen. You are trespassing on my home," one soldier stammered. "That's not possible. She was..." "Dead?" Lyra snapped. "Sold? Broken? You failed." The soldiers didn't shoot. Not yet. They looked at each other, unsure, shaken. Then something incredible happened. One of them dropped his weapon. "I won't arrest her," he said. Another lowered his gun. Then another. The commander growled. Cowards, but he was now outnumbered. The resistance fighters moved in. The soldiers didn't resist. No one wanted to serve monsters anymore. The footage of the standoff spread across the planet within hours. News channels, underground nets, space feeds. People saw her face, heard her words, saw her stand without fear. House Theroch tried to fight back, but their lies were burning, their ships grounded, their people defecting, their banners falling. In the safety of an abandoned tower, Lyra sat with Adam. She had bruises on her arms and dust in her hair, but her eyes shined brighter than ever. "It worked," she said. "For now," Adam replied. "They'll try again, or someone else will." She looked at him. Then, "We'll fight again, but not alone." She opened her hand, revealing a broken chain from her cage, the only thing she had kept. "This was once around my neck." She tossed it into a fire. "It won't be anymore." Adam smiled, and for a moment the war outside disappeared. Because in that moment she wasn't just a survivor, she was a symbol, not because of blood, but because she refused to break. From trash to queen. And he was her first choice. The banners of House Theroch burned across Velen Prime. Their towers collapsed, their soldiers surrendered, and their name, once feared in every system, was now whispered with shame. The people didn't rise up because of warships or royal blood. They rose up because of a girl they had once called broken, a girl no one wanted. Now she stood at the top of the royal palace, rebuilt from the dust. Her name was Lyra, born as our Lyra. Velen, once a child hidden in chains, now the voice of a world. But she didn't wear a crown. She didn't stand behind guards. She stood barefoot, armor scratched, her silver necklace swaying softly around her neck. The one gift no one had forced on her. The one thing that reminded her of who she had become. Below, thousands of beings stood in silence. Humans, aliens, soldiers, workers, children. Waiting. Lyra stepped forward to the edge of the balcony. She did not read from a scroll. She did not speak like a queen, she spoke like Lyra. "I was not raised in this palace," she began. "I do not remember its halls. I do not remember my mother's voice or my father's hands. My memories are not golden." She looked over the silent crowd. "My first memories are of cold floors, rusty cages, chains, hands that hurt, words that crushed. I was told I had no value." She held up her hand. A thin scar ran across her palm. "I was told I was trash, sold, abandoned, forgotten." A pause. Then her voice grew stronger. But someone, one person, didn't believe that. She turned her eyes to the crowd, searching. And then she saw him, standing at the base of the stairs, dressed in a dark coat, boots dusty from walking, no medals, no armor, just Adam, the human who had opened the cage when no one else had, even looked. Lyra continued. "When I had no name, he asked for one. When I had no clothes, he gave me warmth. When I had no reason to live, he gave me space to breathe." Tears welled up in her eyes, but she didn't look away. He never asked for thanks. He never claimed a reward. He just stood beside me. She took a deep breath. "I am not a queen because of my blood. I am here because I survived." Cheers slowly rose, then louder. But Lyra raised her hand, and silence returned. "I was given a choice, to rebuild the throne, to wear the crown, to lead." She stepped back. "I accept, not as someone better than you, but as someone like you, broken, rebuilt, stronger." She turned her eyes to Adam again. "Everyone told me to choose a council, a general, a partner, a prince." She walked down the balcony steps. "I've already made my choice." The crowd parted as she moved. Lyra stepped in front of Adam. He looked stunned. A little smile tried to rise on his lips, but he didn't speak. She reached into her pocket and pulled out something small. A ring made from wire. Old. Simple. The same wire from the cage he had opened. "I kept this," she whispered, holding it between them, not as a reminder of pain, but because that day, "You didn't just open a cage." She placed the ring in his hand. "You opened my life." Adam didn't speak for a long moment. Then his voice broke the air, quiet and full of emotion. "Didn't save a queen," he said. "I saved a girl who didn't even know she mattered." "You saved both," she said. Lyra looked around at the crowd again. "I do not offer you perfection. I offer you truth. I offer you strength. I offer you my voice." She raised her hand. "But my first loyalty is not to power, or blood, or rule." She turned to Adam. "It is to the one who saw me, when I couldn't see myself." The crowd roared, not out of fear, not out of duty, but out of love. Epilogue. Years later, Velen Prime had changed. The city became a place of rebuilding, of healing. It welcomed broken ones, the forgotten, the outcasts. No one called them trash anymore. In the center of the new capital was a statue, not of Lyra with a crown, but of two figures standing side by side, one in simple clothes, one with a necklace. Not rulers, survivors. Lyra often walked among her people without guards. She wore plain boots and carried her own tablet. Children called her Auntie Lyra. Traders offered her snacks she didn't need. And every evening, she returned to a small home built at the edge of the hills. There, Adam waited. Always. They never had a grand wedding, no royal fanfare, just a promise shared between two chairs in a quiet room. "We survived. Let's build something better." And so they did, from trash to queen, from cage to crown, from silence to hope.